Hello everyone, this is Mondan Raghavan. This video we are going to see the CSS specificity. So let's go to the VS Code, and here we have the default HTML where we have, let's say, simple H1 header and H2 headers. If you open the same thing in the HTML file, or let's say in the browser, you can see the header 1 and 3 header 2s. And we are going to create the CSS by using the external file, and we are going to link that by using the link tag. As you see here we are using the link tag, and we are mentioning the href for the reference to the basics.css file. So what are the different ways we can make the stylings? The first one will be like at tag level. Let's say, for example, I'm going to make the styling for the h1 tag. So mention the tag name followed by the braces. Inside that you can mention the key and value. For example, I'm going to create the color and make it as a blue. Save it and again go to the output. Here you can see it has been changed to blue. And second category will be like ID level. Before that, we will create the ID here. Let's say, for example, I'm going to create the ID for the first H2 tag. So ID equal to, let's say, my ID, and save it and go to the basics.css hash the ID name, open and close. Again, we are going to create the key and value. Let's say color. This time we are going to make it as brown, which means that by using the ID, which has the name my-id from the index.html, we are making the changes as a color as brown. Save it and go to the output. Here you can see the first head to, or let's say the first header tag, sub tag can be changed to the brown. Now let's go to the second category. Let's say, for example, we go to, let's say we create the class equal to, let's say, my class, and save it, go to the basics.css. In order to make the styling based on the class, you will be using the dot symbol followed by the class name, open and close. And let's say we are going to make the different color here. Let's say crimson. Save it, and here you can see the another styling. So now we have seen how to make the basic styling by using the tag name, by using the ID, by using the class name. Even you can use inside styling as well. For example, let's see styling, style equal to, let's say, color. Let's say I'm going to make something different. So dark golden dot. Save it, and here you can see the changes. So these are the different ways that we can make the styling. And one more thing to be noted is, like, generally you will be using the ID and classes to club the different tags, or say to club the different elements, so that you can make the styling in a single place. For example, if you have multiple H2 tags, or some of them has to be changed in a different color or different background or different font size, you will make it a single class. Under that, you will just cover all the required H2 tags or any required tag elements. The similar class for the, let's say, ID. And generally ID should be unique for any element or any tag. That's the standard that we need to follow. By using the ID also, we can make the CSS styling. Now CSS specificity. So what is CSS specificity? Let's see, if you go to the W3 school, here you can see, let's say, for example, you have the different ways of making the styling. However, it has to have the priority. For example, let's say, if you go to the specificity, let's say we have seen a different ways. For example, we can make the inline by using the style tag, or we can use the IDs, or we can use the classes, right? So in that case, what happens is, like, if you mention multiple places with the different methods, then which has the priority? In that case, inline styles will be having the more priority than ID. ID will be having the more priority than the classes. So let's say in practical, let's say I have mentioned here, for H1 tag, color is blue. Let's say I'm going to make some other way. Let's say, for example, I'm going to make the ID. ID equal to, let's say, main. Save it. And here you can see the same color because we have not made any changes in the styling. Still blue. Let's say I'm going to the CSS. Now I will be just making with the ID, which is main. Let's say I'm going to make the color. So for screen, save it. Now here you can see the H1 tag has the tag name as well as the ID. Now if you see the output, it will be changed based on the ID because ID has the more priority than the tag name. The same H1 tag has the ID as well as the tag name styling, but still we are preferring, or since the ID has the more priority, so it will be going with it. Let's say you don't have the ID, you have only the class name. Now again, dot main, and here you can add the color again. Let's say I'm going to add like dot magenta, save it. Here you can see the H1 tag, or let's say H1 tag element has been changed to the magenta. Let's say we have everything. Let's say I'm going to add one more thing. Same H1 tag, let's say ID. Main ID. And let's say class name will be main CLS. Save both and let's make the styling on all the category. Let's say class name is main class. It will be CLS, okay. And ID. Color, let's say we will go with for screen itself. Okay, now you can see for the same H1 tag, we will be having the styling based on the tag name. We will be having the styling based on the ID. We will be having the styling based on the class name as well. Right. So based on the priority, ID will be taking the more priority, then you should be seeing the output as for a screen. Let's say I don't have the ID, I have only the class name and the tag name. So the first priority goes to the class name. Let's say I just remove this and save it. Now it should be dot magenta. So the least priority goes to the H1 tag. So since you know that ID has the more priority, now you can see it is in the for screen. But now if you have the inside styling, so that will have more priority than all of this. For example, let's say I'm going to create the style, inline styling. Let's say color and make it as red and save it. Now in this scenario, we will have the styling based on the different levels. For example, in CSS file, we will have the tag level styling, class level styling, ID level styling. At the same time, even at the HTML itself, we will have the inline styling, which is red. Now save it. Here you can see the output, the header, or let's say H1 will be in red. Why? Because the inline styling will be having the more priority than all of that. Just to reference that one. So here you can see the CSS specificity. So here you can see selector will be having, let's say at the tag level, it will be value will be 1. Whereas if you see, let's say the ID will be having the 100. And if you see the inline styling, it will be having 1000. Even you can make the different combination. For example, let's say if you have, let's say tag name and the class name, then your specificity value will be 11 because for tag name, it will be 1. For let's say class name, it will be 10. So 1 plus 10, it will be 11. Similar for other cases, you can make the different combinations. So this way you can understand clearly the high level priority will be going to the inline styling. Obviously, you will not be doing inline styling every time because the preferred way will be using the CSS file. So inside the CSS file, the high priority will be the IDs, then classes, then the tag names. So here you can see the same thing. So this way we have understood. So what are the different 3 types that you can make the styling inside the, or let's say in external files like any files.css file. Okay, and we have the different 3 ways like tag name, class name, and ID. And ID will be having more priority. Then next level will be the class, and last level will be at tag level. So this is all about the CSS specificity, and we have seen. So we can have the combination also, for example, class name and followed by the, let's say, ID name, or let's say the two IDs, or let's say tag name followed by the class name, a different combination. When you want to measure the specificity, you need to have the values like at the tag level, it will be 1. For the class name, it will be 10 value, or let's say ID, it will be having the 100. Inline styling, it will be having 1,000. So based on the overall sum, you can decide which one has the more specificity value. So this is all about the CSS specificity. So thanks for watching and have a great day.